Hey guys, Nubkeks here. As you can probably tell from the title of this video and from what's in the background, this is going to be a little bit of a different video. We're going to be, once we get into it properly, looking at some pro team gameplay from the Open Division and analysing that and breaking it down and seeing what they can do. I think you're going to find it really interesting and exciting. Now, this is actually part of a collaboration with the Xsolla Esports Academy Twitch channel. You can see it's actually playing in the background right now. This is a new Twitch channel which has just started up, and I've been a bit involved with helping it get started and with producing some of the content. This is going to be the first week I've actually have some of my stuff up, and the video you're going to see today on my channel is one of the videos that I have prepared for the Xsolla Esports Academy Twitch channel. It's a 24/7 Here's the Storm channel, which is a really cool idea. I'm really excited to see where it goes, so I kind of jumped on the opportunity to be a part of it and to make a few videos for these guys. So I hope you enjoy, and you can find a link for the channel down in the description below. I hope you go check that out as well. This won't impact my own YouTube or my own streaming in any way at all. This is like extra work and sort of doing on top of it. And I'll put this one up here as well so you guys can check this out. There's going to be, if you want to catch a game 2 of this series, which is equally as good and insightful, you're going to have to catch that on the Xsolla Esports Academy Twitch channel. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you check out Xsolla, and I hope you find this game really interesting, and also thank you very much to Xsolla for providing me with the replays and for letting me do this stuff, and yeah, hopefully we all reap the benefits of it. Alright, enjoy the video. I'll see you all next time for more Here's the Storm. Bye bye. Hi everyone, Nubkeks here, and very happy to be with you today on the Xsolla Esports channel. Looking at a pro replay. This is coming from the semi-finals of the Open Division over here in Europe. We're looking at Team Zealot in the red versus Team Latussia in the blue. Sorry if I get some of the pronunciations and stuff wrong. Not one of my strong points. So what we're going to be doing in today's video is going through this gameplay. I'm not going to spoil the outcome or anything in case you guys didn't catch the match when it first aired. But what we're going to do is break down the plays, the movements around the maps, the talent choices, and also the team comps and what's going on. So right at the start, actually what we're going to do in the video is, if we look at the team comps right at the start, they're quite interesting and quite unusual. The blue team over here, Team Latussia, they're running quite a standard enough composition that you'll be familiar enough with if you play with Hero League. They've got Diablo as their main tank, they've got Thrall over here as their bruiser, Tychus as their main range damage, then they have Karazim as their support, and then they're running a second support / damage dealer with the Tyrande, which is a little bit unusual, but nothing so uncommon that you wouldn't have seen it before, probably, or something like it before. Now, Team Zealot, on the other hand, is running something a bit more different. They have Johanna over here as their main tank. They have Arthas actually as their bruiser, a hero who is actually, interestingly enough, commonly perceived as being fairly weak, at least in the Hero League meta. If you've followed my stuff, you know I love Arthas, but normally speaking he is considered to be fairly weak. Then they've got double support. They've got Tastar as their second support, backing up Rhaegar as their main support, and then they've got Vala as their main range damage dealer. So Team Zealot's actually running double warrior, double support, and then only one assassin. Not a composition you're going to see at all in Hero League, really. It's unusual enough to see double support. People like playing damage dealers and picking them, so it would be very, very unusual in Hero League to see a single damage dealer receiving double support and then double warriors over here. So I think it's very I would consider Vala as well. As we go into this game, we're going to see Vala as something of a hyper carry. She is a hero who can do a ton of damage, but one of her main drawbacks is how squishy she is, how easy she is to get picked off with her low health pool. And the protection, as you can see, her health pool is tiny, say, compared to Johanna or something like that. The protection, the Tastar shields, this is Tastar before his rework, is a huge part of what's going to allow him to move into this. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to knock it over to the blue team's view. And I thought this would be a really interesting way to look at this game, is to see it from the view of the blue team. Considering that, you can see the owl from Tyrande actually catching them out and spotting this rotation initially. But I figured that the blue team is so different. The red team, it's so different. What we're going to do is look at it from the perspective of the blue team and see what is it actually like to play against this sort of composition that's coming up. Does it look scary, or is it something that can be easily countered? If we pause the game right away, we can immediately see actually some pretty interesting rotations. We're going to pause the game at sort of key points to point out what's going on exactly. But as you can see, the blue team has actually split away Karazim and sent him to the top lane. He is going to be soloing top lane, and they actually sent the rest of their 4 heroes down to the bottom lane. There's a bit of a scuffle down there. They've lost some HP and they've backed off. But quite interesting here that although Thrall would be most known as the solo lane hero, it's actually Karazim that they split off. This is because of the fact that they have they've got double support. They've got Tyrande and they've got Karazim as their supports. Tyrande, they don't want to split her away. She's definitely a support that you always want with your team. Because, you know, of her heal is healing herself and an ally. Her stun and her hunter's mark, most importantly, are all about setting up her allies. Whereas Karazim is a bit more, he can use his stuff a bit more, and he's got Iron Fist, he'll be a bit more independent. So because they've got 2 supports, they're sending 1 support up top, and he's going to be their solo laner, at least for the start of the game, because that's something they can remove from their composition and still be happy with. And see, Thrall is making his way to the mid lane, and he's going to hold the mid lane position on his own at the start, while the other 3 members of the team come down here. We can see red team has sent Arthas up top. They have Vala and Tastar together in the bottom lane. You can see they're absolutely burning through this wave incredibly quickly. Vala doing a ton of damage. Tastar with the Ice Storm as well, doing so, and also giving protection to that Vala. With his vision. You can see right there the vision reveals the enemy team. The blue team gets revealed by Tastar's vision. Johanna, Athro Angel there in the middle, is soloing as well. You see up top lane, Zarmany on Arthas is starting to win this actually pretty convincingly. Definitely being able to bully Karazim around quite a lot. In the bottom lane we have a fight breaking out as the blue team tries to push forward fairly aggressively, but you can see the power of Vala. They're actually running Vala with double support down the bottom lane, and just the damage output of that alone is enough to put huge bullying pressure in on the Tychus. You can see that's very, very scary. With Tassadar on top of her, with those Tassadar shields, Vala is able to do so much damage. You can see she's just burning through these waves as well. With the Psy Storm and her basic attacks, Tychus not able to come in and do anything. See, blue team has rotated some heroes around, actually sending the Owl down here to scout out some vision. Tychus doing his best to push these guys off. You can see the ammo's already been depleted on these turrets, and the turrets are even starting to lose some HP. Whereas the red team turrets, they got the first one down a bit, but they're still strong in terms of ammo. Blue team sort of relocating resources here, trying to put some pressure on the mid lane instead, realizing that bottom lane is not doing too well. But we can see the power of Rhaegar. They've pushed in here. Rhaegar doing some good damage to this tower. Vala burning it down too. So really nice moves around the map by red team at the start. In return, of course, if we pause the game, you can see the blue team has come up here and they have sent Thrall and Tyrande to steal, or not to steal, but even just to take their own siege camp. This spawns at 2 minutes in. You can see they've been working on it for a few seconds now. They've already got 1 down. This is a really good thing you can do on this map in particular. And the reason being that what this siege camp does is, let's say, for example, the first tribute, we're taking this as early as possible. So this should be taken just as the first tribute spawns. If the first tribute spawns, you know, down, let's say, for example, here, this would be a really good spot. It's in the bottom right. Well, that means that you're going to have a siege camp pushing top in the meantime. And honestly, the siege camp pushing top is probably worth more even than the first tribute. So that opens up a lot of options. Let's switch over to Tychus' view. We can see what he's trying to do, trying to hold out. You can see Diablo is sent into the mid lane. He's trying to soak that XP while his teammates are spread around. You can see there we go. Tribute activates and the Merc camps are captured. Look at this. Tyrande is pinging that she's going to the siege camp over here. She's probably going to scout it out. She has her owl up in 5 seconds, so that's probably what she's going to do, is use that to scout out the siege camp, expecting the enemy team to be doing the same thing. Though they are a bit behind, she's more likely to catch them as they complete it, if they are doing that, to catch them completing it than anything else. But that's okay. We'll let their team know where they are. Karazim still clearing up here. Fortunately, this siege camp not going to be as good because the tribute is up here, of course, but still, it's something to do. You can see the red team does arrive in the middle. Looks like they're not doing this at all. Yeah, as we can see from the red team appearing here, they're not actually on the siege camp. We can see too many of them on the map right now. So Tyrande is probably going to save her owl to interrupt these tributes or to scout it out as they try to move in. Here we go, blue team moving in. Red team has established a pretty strong position here. We'll take a look at the talents actually after this one. Red team moves in very aggressively for a fight. We've got turning their focus over to the Karazim. They're burning him down. Vala, you can see, just watch the Vala, super aggressive, just positioning very far forwards, doing as much damage as she can. Picks off the Karazim thing as well, his level 4. And the red team just with pretty much a very powerful move pushes blue team back. Let's actually pause real quick. Actually, let's leave it play because the blue team is backing off. Not too much action here. They're just swinging around to clear out the way. So you can see just how much focus fire these guys have. Remember, Karazim is AoE healing and Tyrande doesn't bring a whole lot of healing. So the single target burn, the single target focus that you have from Team Zealot is enough to get these guys low and to just force them off the point. I would say straight off, we've got a couple of somewhat unusual picks. So we've got block on Arthas, which is pretty interesting actually to start it off. That's relatively unusual, I would say, considering that they're going up against a Tychus who will shred through the block stacks pretty quickly. I think the main reason for this is to give more protection against the Thrall and the Karazim, and some solo lane power as well. Not as useful against Tychus, but in situations where Tychus doesn't affect Arthas, because there are lots of other targets that Tychus would like to attack, it's going to be pretty good. He's also got Biting Cold. Icebound Fortitude then, also a relatively unusual talent. You can see big focus down the bottom lane, trying to pick off Johanna after Angel right here. He gets a blind across the enemy team, gets a stun, and he just about makes it out. Very lucky for him, and Diablo actually gets picked off on the back by the towers. Bit of bad luck for Team Blue there, getting focused down. Team Latussia. Also, they did not combo their abilities together quite correctly. The Diablo and Tyrande not working it quite correctly, and they get focused down. In the meantime, let's actually throw a pause in here and let's actually catch up on those talents and see what's going on. You can see with all these heroes dedicated to the bottom lane, right? So Team Zealot, they know that Thrall, Tyrande, and Diablo are all in bottom lane. Tychus is here in mid lane. With that, they're able to just dedicate the full power of this double support Vala comp to the top lane. They're just going to focus that down extremely aggressively. They've already destroyed the gates and the towers down bottom lane. They're now doing the same up top and granting and gathering all of that XP for their team, that structural advantage. They're very lucky, really, that the Johanna, the gank worked out so badly for Team Latussia. With Diablo dying, that actually takes a lot of pressure off them and makes this a really, really positive trade for them. So just to recap the talents, we've got Icebound Fortitude here on Arthas. Not a talent we see very often in solo queue play, but it's going to be extremely effective here in pro play. This is, I think, one of the defining things about this sort of pro level play that we're going to see is that there's a much greater single target focus. That's just the advantage of being on voice comms, being an organized team. And having an idea of how everyone plays and an actual game plan going into it, is that the single target focus in these games is much greater than anything you'd see in Hero League. So a talent like Icebound Fortitude is going to be incredibly effective, reducing the duration of CCs and giving Arthas armor. This is going to vastly increase his survivability when he is focused down by this is the single target focus that the enemy team has. Johanna, reinforced Laws of Hope, Conviction. Nothing too astounding there. They're all pretty standard stuff. Same thing with the old Tastar. We've got Conscious Pursuit, Leeching Plasma, Kala's Embrace. Rhaegar has Wolfront for some mobility. Healing Totem for extra healing, especially effective around tributes and then cleanse and bosses. Cleanse, nothing too strange there as well. Hot Pursuit, Punishment, and then Death Dealer. Death Dealer, perhaps a little bit unusual. She's increasing false basic attack damage from 6% to 14% per stack of hatred. So going for more single target focus. That's what this talent does. Yes, you get the refresh if you kill an enemy. That's nice and everything. The main thing that this talent is taken for is for that single target focus. So they want to catch someone in Johanna's CC, they want to catch them in the Arthas damage, and then have Vala with Vault and all of her damage pumping out into a single target and just try to kill one person. That's the main reason for Death Dealer right there. On the blue team, we've got Thrall. He's got block, a little bit unusual, but nothing. Not too strange as well, just not the most common choice in Hero League, but in pro play it's pretty common actually to build Thrall as somewhat more of a tanky bruiser. For example, we could see him with block. Unlikely actually we'll see him with spell shield in this game, but it's possible. They're not running as much ability damage on Team Zealot, but a standard enough tanky Thrall build would be block, spell shield, blood for blood at 1, 13 and 16. That's becoming more and more popular to survive that single target focus and get in and get a good earthquake off. Diablo with Bulwark from the Shadows and Diabolical Momentum. Iron Fists, Earth Ally. We don't have a level 7 yet, which will kind of dictate more so what sort of build Karazim is going for, so that will be interesting. And press the advantage, the bigger they are. Quarterback for Tychus, and then Empower, Pierce, and Lunar Blaze for Tyrande. Nothing, again, too unusual there. I mean, we can take a quick look at the stats so far. We can see that there's only one death into the game. Very pro game. It's kind of standard, fewer deaths. We can see that Vala is leading the charge in both siege damage and hero damage quite substantially. Team Zealot really exploiting that to the max potential. We can see that also the red team hasn't been seen on the map. They're not on the map haven't been there for quite a while. Blue team scouts it out with the owl. They don't spot them. So I think they're at the bruisers, probably at this stage. They haven't been, yeah, okay. So they're taking the bruisers. Taking the boss would be very risky. They could be scouted out by the owl. They could be spotted. Not a great idea. We can see that the bruiser pick actually works really well here. They grab the bruisers and they actually timed. I'm not sure if they timed it intentionally or if it just worked out very nicely for them. But let's actually throw in a quick pause. It happened just as the tribute spawns. You can see the blue team here. They're a little behind in terms of XP. It's 2 tributes for the red team, none for the blue team. So they have been losing so far, and it looks like what they're deciding to do is to actually focus on pushing in top lane and getting XP from destroying top lane as opposed to contesting this tribute. See, red team, we just spotted a couple of them there actually coming through the brush, and you can see blue team instantly pings and they are scared. So this should be quite interesting. Johanna is sent down, and you see very sneaky, they actually grab the boss. That was a really good move. Let's actually just pause and consider the greatness of that move. That was awesome. I don't think the blue team saw that coming at all. I didn't see it coming at all either. They burned through that so quickly with the Vala. That was a really nice move what they did there. So grabbing the bruisers as the tribute spawned. Blue team scared to fight. They actually dedicate heroes to top. So it looks very much like what's happening is a trade. Blue team saying, okay, you can have the curse, but we're just gonna trade some XP. We're gonna catch up in XP. You can have the curse. Sure, you hit level 10 first and have the curse first, but we're not gonna be so far behind you that we can't defend. We're gonna hit level 10 reasonably soon in the curse as well, and then we're gonna have our heroics to try to defend against that. So you're not gonna get a keep or anything crazy. The red team, Team Zealot, realizes this. They sent Johanna down to take the tribute, just to delay and survive. And then with the rest of their heroes, they actually send them with the owl down. Having seen the owl miss, they send they send the rest of their team into this boss, even just under the noses of the blue team. They know Tychus is in mid lane, having to deal with these bruisers, and they actually steal that boss away. Really sneaky, really clever move. So now there's a boss in the top lane. There's going to be a tribute for the red team. You can see with 3 heroes up top. Thrall just has to back off. There's no way he can deal with this. Let's actually pop over to Tychus. He's trying to defend right here. Decent attempt to dodge, doesn't quite work out, and the blue team starts to push in and do some big damage here in the mid lane. You can see Tychus getting hit and instantly pressured off by that Vala. She is in and she is burning down this fort. This is a very scary position for Tychus. In the bottom lane, by the way, we just have pretty much just soaking from the Johanna and the Thrall. They're trying to push it in each. And see, the red team has made their way across here. Thrall's now out of position. Nice rotation by the red team. Rhaegar and Arthas making their way down to lock out this Thrall. Once again, red team knows that blue team had multiple heroes up top, which opens this gank up completely. They saw they're all up top. They had pretty much it completely pushed in on the blue team side of the map. They sent their heroes down. Thrall overstaying his welcome in the bottom lane and does pay with his life. You see they've rotated around now. They're going to steal the other boss off the back of this curse. They took out every single fort here, which is a huge win. They're now 2 levels up. They also get the enemy team's boss, which is going to get a lot of value. They even have a big wave built up in bottom lane. They're starting to push that in. You can see Vala starting to work on these turrets. Like I said, this is not the type of gameplay you will see that often in Hero League. You know, this level of Vala gameplay is very rare, and having the coordination with double support with the Vala, you're not going to see it very often. But I think it's just really cool to see it from the blue team's perspective here, and just how scary that this is. Alright, huge fight erupting here. Everyone moving in, trying to dodge the Arthas. Unbelievable. Look at that. You guys see that? Arthas surviving incredibly long. Everyone trying to dodge out of the apocalypse as well. Very important to actually stand out of that. You lose less time moving out of it than you do getting hit by that. Sounds like Arthas actually disconnected from the game right there. And the blue team getting a nice win there. They do back off. They got the red keep to half health, and they're backing off now at this stage. I see the owl from Toronto does scout them out as they're backing off. And there you go. You can see just how long Arthas survived. And that is a combination of basically his talent choices. So we have Arthas. He's got Army of the Dead healing him. We got fairly standard heroic choices overall. Nothing surprising really at all. I mean, Arthas, bear in mind, he's got Icebound Fortitude protecting him. He's got Army of the Dead healing him. He's got obviously, you know, Frigid Winds and his E, his Frozen Wastes protecting him as well. On top of that, he's got a Johanna to peel for him a little bit. You know, she's got mini stuns and blinds. He's got potentially some healing from Tassadar. The healing totem and chain heals from Rhaegar. The Earth Shield from Lightning Shield, which is going to work really well with his max HP. And then some healing from Bloodlust too. So between all of those things, this Arthas is actually very tanky. Actually, just missed this. But up at the top lane, you can see Thrall once again goes a bit too forwards in the lane. And considering the weak lane pressure and lane presence that the blue team has, the red team does come and just destroys him. This is worth considering. If you look at it in terms of wave clear, right about now, if you look at this in terms of wave clear, blue team have a lot with Tychus, but Tranda pretty weak, Karazim very weak, Diablo's okay and Thrall's okay, but they're not that strong. Whereas on the red team, Vala is very strong, Johanna is very strong. You see, they actually haven't appeared yet. Let's say pause this. So this is kind of danger signs. Johanna's very strong. Tassadar's quite strong. Rhaegar's strong. Very strong wave clear on the red team. And this is allowing them to clear out these waves, push in the lanes, and then also feel quite safe to... They never have to worry about the blue team really pushing in their structures. So they need to worry about it very little, because they're able to clear out the wave so quickly and push down the structures much faster themselves. So if the blue team ever sends 3 heroes down bottom lane to push in structures, they can simply outpush them and outtrade them elsewhere. Now, the fact they aren't on the map now is quite scary and quite dangerous. We've got really no idea where the red team is. They could be taking their bruisers. Okay, that's where they were. It doesn't mean that's the only place they are, though. Owl comes up from Toronto, and actually bad luck there. Doesn't interrupt the task, or probably should have held on to that a little bit longer to actually aim it correctly. Scouting it out more so than trying to interrupt, and that doesn't pay off in the end. See, the red team is starting to move in, and probably to pressure this. Demolished. Blue team gets a fort for themselves, so that's pretty good. They have to give up, of course, the tribute, and they also give up this top camp. And then look at that, Vala pushing in by herself. She picks off a tower. She's got the support with her. She knows she's not in any danger, so they do that and back off. So they trade basically the bottom fort for a top keep tower plus a tribute right there. Pretty interesting trade. Not the worst trade actually in the world for the blue team. We're probably pretty happy with that. Owl coming out to scout the south. The boss is just about to start. You can see the red team actually starting that off. But they do back off with the Owl coming in to scout. Once again, this is pretty scary for the blue team. You can see they got almost no vision around the entire map. They've got their lanes pushed in everywhere. They're completely reliant on the Owls to spot stuff. Karazim goes in pretty aggressively, kind of expecting somewhere to dash out to. He does find somewhere to dash out to and pops his 7-sided strike, but it doesn't get too much damage. See, these are the tanks and the supports here, and they're soaking up a lot of damage. Arthas once again being focused down. Bloodlust comes out. Arthas though, he is soaking up so much damage with his Army of the Dead, and he just barely makes it out alive. And then with the return damage, they get absolutely annihilated. I think that's just the name of these two team fights so far, the two big team fights, is that the blue team just does not have enough damage to kill the Arthas. And this is the effect, of course, of Block, Icebound Fortitude being MVP here, Army of the Dead being MVP, and then Frigid Winds providing some extra defense and protecting him. Also the slow, of course, from his E, protecting him from all that melee focus. It's such a huge deal. And even just with the Earth Shields, just with the heals of his team, it's just not enough for the blue team to actually be able to take him down. They're burning all of their damage, all of their abilities. They're burning everything into taking out this Arthas. They're not able to do it, and then they've got nothing left to actually focus down the rest of the heroes, and they're paying a big price for it. This is pretty interesting. We would have expected them to kill the boss so far. Okay, they do kill it. And the blue team does kill their own boss. Oh, okay, they're starting to move in fairly aggressively right here. So they're a bit slower killing that boss, but it's not a huge deal. And you can see maintaining once again just huge pressure on these lanes. Look how far pushed up these lanes have been for pretty much this latter half of the game so far. Completely pushed in to the max. Oh, this is a really, really good spawn position for the red team. Very, very scary. Very, very scary. There's a boss pushing in. They're going to be able to grab this curse. No problem. That will be a curse with the boss here. Blue team doing what they can to burn this down. Once again, they don't have actually a very good boss killing team either. Not a very good boss killing team either. They're trying to burn it down with the Tyrannus Hunter's Mark, which means it's not going to be available for this team fight. Vala coming in using Strafe immediately, just burning that, trying to get as much AoE damage down as possible. Didn't do a lot, but it's something. Starfall coming down just to wave clear and focus the boss and zone out this team. That's not going to be a big team fighting heroic then. Once again, Arthas is the focus. Watch Arthas. Alright, they get him with the Earthquake. They popped Odin. But look at this. Arthas just heals through everything and walks out with almost full HP. The boss is on the core. Tychus actually got rooted by the boss, and that is going to be all she wrote. Tychus goes down, melted down almost instantly. Diablo, he's in the middle of the enemy team as well, but there's nothing he can do at this stage. This is going to be game. And yeah, pretty interesting game number one. We're going to take a look at the talent builds, and we're going to recap what we saw happen right there. Diablo going in on Vala. Actually, the respawn timers are pretty soon, so maybe it's not game. Let's hold on here. They're on core. They're focusing a bit on kills, not able to quite kill the Diablo. They turn around though. Okay, this is going to be game. They're going to pick it off. We can pause right here so we can check all the stats without interruption. We can see the boss on the enemy team, for the blue team, actually got the keep almost dead, which is pretty nice for them, but not enough to actually not enough to win the game for them. You know, with the curse and the boss pushing in, really nice move by Team Zealot to win the game at 14 minutes and 30 seconds. So if we take a look at blue team's talents, just overall, rounding this out, we can see that Thrall actually went for Giant Killer and Tempest Fury at the end. He actually diverged from that Bruiser build and went for more of a Tank Killer build, Tank Buster build with the Tempest Fury Giant Killer combination there, trying to burn down that Arthas, trying to get just a bit more kill pressure, a bit more damage output on that Arthas to try finish him off when they did focus him in the fights. You can see they were also trying to focus Arthas as opposed to Johanna. I think more so because Johanna has Iron Skin to escape, whereas Arthas doesn't have as much. But clearly he did have enough to survive in this situation. Diablo picked up Devastating Charge, and as you can see, didn't actually get much use out of it here. We're going for some max health damage. Pretty interesting. And then Domination. So pretty good build from Diablo overall, but just didn't get the time really to finish that quest or to get much value out of it. Unfortunately for them, they were kind of fighting in their base for most of it, and quite a large open area at the end there, and not being able to make much happen. Karasim did go for Sixth Sense, which is a pretty good choice, I think, actually, overall. Whenever he's stunned or rooted, blocks basic attacks, reducing their damage. So trying to be a bit tanky, a bit more of a front line. You know, Arthas is obviously doing roots, Johanna's doing a lot of stuns, so that's going to trigger in multiple ways and provide a lot of protection from Arthas's basic attacks, from Rhaegar and from Vala. So nice choice there at 13. Wave the 100 Fists, obviously pretty standard. Tychus went for Spray and Pray and Titan Grenade, fairly standard as well. Sprint and then Ranger on the Tyrande. So a little bit more unusual here. Ranger fairly standard with what she's got already. The Sprint a little bit not going for the single target healing or anything like that. The Sprint just to avoid these ganks. Yeah, nothing too surprising really. Arthas finishing off his E build with Frigid Winds, Remorseless Winter, making it very difficult for Thrall in particular and Karasim. It's a very effective build against Thrall and Karasim. It makes it very difficult for them to actually get in and start basically attacking Arthas. If they want to go in and focus Arthas down, and Diablo's somewhat included in this, they start taking a lot of damage from the E, they start getting their movement speed slowed, they get their attack speed slowed, and then they get rooted if they stay there for too long. So it's pretty scary for them to fight into that. Johanna picked up Imposing Presence, which is really nice here, to try to just slow down the enemy team and just to mitigate some of their focus, which is nice. They can slow down that attack speed, help Arthas live some more. Prescience and Dimensional Warp from Tassadar, nothing surprising there. Earth Shield and Earth Grasp from Rhaegar, nothing surprising there either. And then Gloom from Vala, actually protecting her in case she ever got caught out. That's a kind of interesting. And Seething Hatred, a very unusual Vala build actually, very unusual Vala build. So she's trying to stack up her hatred as soon as possible, be able to spend it on Gloom pretty easily. So she's trying to protect herself, even though she wasn't ever being a big focus here. She is aware that that could happen, and she wants to stay as healthy as possible. So it's really interesting that she has the Gloom Seething Hatred combo, able to generate hatred very quickly and then able to spend it with Gloom, then get back up to hatred if she needs it, which she needs for damage, and she needs it for her level 4 punishment talent and her death dealer talent at level 7. So she's able to generate this hatred as quickly as possible, activate at full effectiveness her level 1, 4 and 7 talents, have Gloom ready to be activated at full power as well. And then, yeah, just as soon as these team fights break out, she's going to build up hatred real quick and get in there. That's a very interesting talent build. Very unusual. You would not see a talent build like this in solo queue at all. But considering the composition they have and the needs of the game, it obviously worked out really well. If we check out the stats at the end, we can see Tychus actually caught up and did really well in terms of his siege damage and hero damage. But Vala, not too far behind, did a lot of damage. And I think kind of the name of the game here really is that they've got almost no deaths on Team Zealot here. No deaths on the red team. Blue team just not able to secure those kills. Arthur surviving by the skin of his teeth multiple times and doing a really, really nice job. I mean, I suppose that's part of it as well, is that even though the damage is low and the damage taken is somewhat low as well, that's kind of the standard of pro play, which will differentiate it from your Hero League play, is that you've got these much more focused fights, much bigger single target focus, even different talent builds occasionally coming in to facilitate that. But I just thought it was really interesting in this particular game to see a sort of Vala only composition, in a way, like a Vala focused composition coming through with double warrior and double support, and just what it's like to play against that, how that can be used in a somewhat organized setting. So that is something that you could do, for example, in Team League in your games, if you are playing like amateur games here, you know, queuing up with as a 3-person team, you could kind of go, all right, well, we'll double support with a Vala and we can work that into our games. You can see the power that it has through the laning, through taking mercs, putting pressure everywhere, and then in the team fights as well. Really, really cool. And I think Arthas was my MVP in this game. Just that immense survivability and just, you know, kind of just winning handily enough that top lane, just, you know, being very secure in that top lane for the first half of the game, and then being this huge team fighting presence, just refusing to die and just surviving barely at the end of all those team fights was such a huge deal. Doing a great tanking job, absorbing all that damage. And yeah, there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be back next time. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to come up on the live stream channel, potentially after this game. I have no idea. I'm not in charge of the scheduling stuff, but I will be coming back and taking a look at game number 2 between these two teams, which will be on, I think it's on Sky Temple, if I'm not incorrect. So we'll get to see how they adapt to each other's strategies and what happens. So yeah, I hope to catch you guys all then. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.